Here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Coffee Talk with DJ and Risa. I'm DJ, one of your hosts, and this is where we sit down and we share tips on how to become a top producer and uncover strategies that actually move the needle in real estate. Today's episode is part of our Back to Basics series where we strip away the noise, focus on timeless tactics that have worked for decades and still work today. With me, as always, is my co-host, top producer, and vice president of agent development here at KL Realty, Risa Weiss. Risa, how's it going?
It's going good. It's going better now that I've got my coffee in my hand and I get to see your smiling face. I love Wednesdays. So I'm excited about today's topic. Today we're getting back to the basics and we're talking about calling with a purpose. Because let's be honest, picking up the phone is something that a lot of agents avoid. And when you do it right, it's the most powerful way to strengthen our relationships and generate business.
Yeah, I agree. I talk to a lot of top producers and also newer agents. You talk to both as well. And people being reluctant to pick up the phone is a very common thing. So if you are one of those people that you get a little anxious picking up the phone and making your dials, don't worry. We're going to help you through that. And that's a totally normal reaction. I feel the same way when I make my dials as well. So, but let's talk about, making your calls and we immediately often can agents can think of like cold calling or scripts that feel forced and awkward, but we're really not talking about that. We're talking about nurturing calls, reaching out to people who and you have a clear reason to call them, building a real connection and keeping your name top of mind.
The key here is purpose. Sometimes I use the word intentionality. We're not calling to check in on that vague, salesy way. We're really calling to ask something specific and something that's relevant to them, something that adds value to your relationship.
Yeah, I agree. Let's start at the beginning. So who should agents be calling?
All right. So you've heard this term, sphere of influence. Those are past friends, past clients, friends, family, neighbors, vendor partners, people that know, like, and trust you. And even people that you've met at open houses or networking events, community activities, people who know your name and would take your call. These are warm contacts, they're not strangers.
Right. So this is about deepening existing relationships, not chasing cold call kind of phone calls, not chasing cold leads.
Yeah, and when you approach it that way, it feels natural. But you still have to have a plan and you have to have a dialogue. And I will tell you that my dialogue is called a Ford call. FORD, Ford. So every one of my conversations includes asking about their family. O, occupation. How's your job? R, recreation. What are you doing for fun? And then D, dreams or destinations. Have you gone traveling or got any trips coming up? But then after you've had your Ford calls and you've uncovered some things in their lives that you can connect with, then you need to have a reason why you called. And it might be as simple as maybe it's their home anniversary. And you could say, hey, can you believe it's been 3 years since you bought your home? How's it going? Or a neighborhood update. Did you know 3 homes just sold in your subdivision last month? I thought you'd want to know those prices. Or even life milestones. Everybody tells you this on Facebook. So you say, I saw him on Facebook, your son graduated. Congratulations. Or market changes or event invitations. Like, I've got a client appreciation event coming up. Wanted to make sure you're invited. Okay. Or even resource sharing. We have tons of vendors in our pocket. And it might be, hey, you mentioned needing a plumber. Can I connect you with someone I trust?
Yeah, these are all great suggestions. I'm going to repeat them just because I thought what you said is just so incredibly powerful. Because I think you're right. I do oftentimes when I talk to agents who are struggling, I'll ask them, why are you reluctant to make a call? And they'll say, well, I just don't know what to say. And you just gave really 6 amazing reasons, and I would write these down. I would have them in front of you so you could just pick from the 6. So I'm just going to give you these 6 one more time because this is really amazing what she just said. So one is home anniversaries. By the way, if it's not your previous client, can you still call somebody if you know their home anniversary? Of course. Maybe it's somebody who worked with a realtor in the past. Maybe they're not even calling, right? Another one. So that's a great one. Also, birthdays are a good one too. So it could be not just the home's birthday, but the person's birthday. And if you don't know their birthday, call them and say, I want to celebrate your birthday every year. I don't have it in my CRM. When is it, right? Okay, second one, neighborhood updates. This is awesome. I don't even always know when in my building a condo sells or a townhome sells. This would be really helpful for me to know, and so I don't even always know. So I love that like, here's what's going on in your neighborhood. Life milestones, obviously huge one there. Market changes, like right now the rates are at their lowest point in 2025. Well, maybe that they're not moving right now, but still something probably people need to know. Event invitations, right? I've got a client appreciation event coming up, right? And then resource sharing. I love this. Hey, do you have any home projects that you're currently stuck on or haven't started? I could probably connect you with somebody that can fix that. Like, that's awesome stuff. So those six, go back and rewatch this and write those down, because that will give you so many reasons to pick up the phone. And notice none of them were, hey, I'd like to be your realtor. I'd like, for you to consider selling your property. You're literally providing value. So I love that Lisa, what you said was just so huge. This is really talking about saying something relevant to the person. And it's not just about, hey, remember me? I thought of you, because you're actually giving them value.
Well, and you're also demonstrating that you're the source of everything real estate. And so they start to associate your name with real estate. Sometimes we get that voice in our head that we're going to bother people, right? I'm
Yeah.
bothering them, I'm bothering them. But
Yeah.
when you provide them with value, you're not bothering people. And really, even if you haven't talked to somebody in several years, give them a call, say, own up to it. I'm so sorry I haven't talked to you in a few years, but I really just wanted to see how you're doing. And then go through your forward questions and give them a reason why you're calling. Hey, what's going on in your life? Maybe I saw that your neighborhood was doing really well in the market. I just wanted to tell you about that a little. Okay.
I love
So,
it.
yeah.
I
So
love
here's
it.
a pro tip. All right. Keep a running list in your CRM of possible reasons to call each contact.
Yes.
And DJ, I love how Facebook always tells us everybody's birthday. So I tend
Oh,
to look a couple weeks ahead and I put it in my calendar so that I'm ready for it first thing in the morning. I always call on people's birthdays. I don't send cards. I like to say,
right.
hey, how are you celebrating your birthday? Like, I just wanted to make sure you have a super special day.
Yeah, LinkedIn's another great place, because LinkedIn not just shows birthdays, but it also shows when somebody's got like a work anniversary,
Oh,
which,
yeah.
let's be honest, I don't even know my work anniversary. LinkedIn does. And so whenever it's mine, and then I get like 20 messages that day going, hey, it's your, work anniversary at Kale. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that. So that's another one that like literally nobody knows, even the person. So great examples there. So let's talk structure. Like, how do you make sure the call flows naturally, but still covers what you need?
I'm so glad you brought that up, DJ. The structure. So I talked about the Ford, but I'm going to break this into a three-part framework. Okay. So one, open with the reason. One of those six reasons that DJ and I just gave you. Hey Sarah, I just want to congratulate you. It's your 5-year home anniversary this month. Congrats. How you love in the house, right? Open with the reason. Then two, have the conversation, and that's your Ford. Ask those open-ended questions. Um, Ask the questions even about how's the house been working out for you? Any projects on your list? And then close with the value. Offer something of value. If you ever need a great roofer or you want a great idea, a quick idea of your home's value, just let me know. We never have to ask for the business. We just keep demonstrating that we are the realtor of choice. That's it. It's short, it's service oriented, and it's friendly.
Yeah, I love that. Let's go through those three one more time, because again, you just said three things that if you just follow these steps, you'll never worry about the phone call. You'll always know what you're going to say and the reason. So the first one was open with the reason. Why are you calling? What's the prompt, right? As Risa said, 5-year home anniversary. One thing I do for agents I'm trying to recruit to Kale is I look to see when they do deals, because I think, well, maybe their own managing broker isn't calling to congratulate them. Hey, I just saw you got a new listing, or you just closed a deal, right? So same sort of ideas. Have a reason to call them. Then two is have a conversation. So ask open-ended questions like, how's the house been working out for you, like Risa said, and any new projects you're adding. And then the third is closing with some value. Give them something that they can digest and use. So again, open with a reason, have a conversation, close with value. So simple. But I think the fear also for some agents is, what if they're not interested in real estate right now?
And you know what? I think that's a great question. And It's fine. The point isn't to get them to list or buy today. It's so that you stay top of mind. And so when they're ready or when they meet somebody who is, they think of you first. These calls are building trust and credibility over time. And I'm going to tell you that in your marketing plan, you should have that you're going to make a phone call to everybody in your sphere of influence every 3 months. That's every quarter. And we're just calling to check in and see how you are and build trust and credibility.
Yeah. Now, what about tracking and consistency, right? So we know that both making 1 week of calls doesn't build a business, but it's about that consistent follow up.
Right. So create that call schedule. Break your database into 4 groups. Call one group each week. That's that easy, right? And this way you connect with everybody at least every once a quarter. Remember, calls are free. They're deepening your relationship. They're building trust and credibility. So take your database. It should be in a CRM. Break it into 4 groups. And that way you know which group you're calling each week. It's
Yeah,
that
that's a
easy.
great system. I have one more tip as well. Please keep notes of the call because you want to be able to reference back because you're not going to likely remember 3 months ago what you talked to so and so about. Maybe you have a great memory. I do not. So taking notes is great. I know one thing that Risa does, and I do. If you have certain types of phones, you can have an AI, taking notes for you and literally giving you a summary. And if you don't have that, just write a few notes down, throw it in your CRM so that you can go back. So that way, when you call the next time, you're not repeating the same thing. Maybe you said the thing of value last time, and you want to come up with different things each time. So I would keep a little list in your CRM. Just it also just jog your memory of what's going on in that person's life. So this is a great system. Let's go rapid fire for some pro tips about making these calls more effective.
Sure. I want to first of all tell you that even DJ just admitted we don't always like getting on the phone. I don't know why, but sometimes you have to force yourself. And
Yep.
DJ, have you ever read the book Just Eat the Frog?
Yes, Brian
Yeah.
Tracy. Yes.
Right, right. So I want you to put a picture of a bullfrog in front of you and just eat your frog first thing in the morning. Okay.
Yeah.
And here's one thing: stand up and smile when you call. If
Yes.
you stand up, you feel more confident, you're more comfortable. And when you smile, people hear it in your tone. Okay. I do love that DJ just reminded us to put our notes in our CRM. So before you make that phone call, read over your notes from the last call so that you can connect back to something that they told you in the past. So have your notes ready. Don't read like a script, but be prepared. And try to listen more than you talk. And I think that's the biggest mistake real estate agents make. Make it about them. Dale Carnegie was absolutely right. The more you get people to talk about themselves, the more they're going to like you. Let's see. I got a couple more here, DJ. End every call with a warm, positive send off, not a hard sell. I don't like asking for the business. I know there are other coaching companies that are going to say, ask for that referral. I am not in favor of that. I am in favor of a positive send off, reminding people what a great conversation it was and the service that you were able to provide. And immediately follow up every single call with a quick text or email if you promise to send something. Maybe it'll even be through social media, or maybe you're just going to connect with everybody through social media, but an immediate follow up if you promise something. And I do try to promise something in every call so I have a reason to communicate with people after the phone call.
Yeah, I love that. And I'll give you guys a little tip about how I remember because it's not always convenient. Sometimes when we're making our dials, we don't want to stop and then do the activity that we promised the person right away because we want to get on to
Hmm.
our next call, but we don't want to forget to do that activity either. So for me, I don't like to do it right after the call only because I want to keep dialing, but I don't want to forget what I'm supposed to do. So what I do is I just grab my phone and I have an iPhone, but you can do this with Android. If it's Android, you'll ask Google, and if it's iPhone, you'll ask Siri. But I always say, hey Siri, remind. I'm just trying not to activate mine. Remind me in an hour to send such and such an SMS with this. Or so I do that because I do not want to break my stride. So if you're like me, just speak it into your phone, get right onto your next call, and it'll remind you in an hour. So just a little tip there. But what Risa just said, these are gold. She just gave great tips: standing up and smile, having your notes ready, listen more than talking. Right, that's a tough one for us. We think I have to fill every pause with something to say. No, listening is always the key. End every call with a warm, positive send off, and immediately follow up with a text, or in my case, make a note to either on with hand or into your phone. Make sure that you get that follow up schedule. So these are gold. The beauty of this is it's simple, it's free, and it works. And I want to just say one more thing about making dials. For those of you that's like, I don't want to bother people, remember this. Number one, if you follow Risa steps, you're not bothering anyone anyway. But even if you still feel like that, remember this: nobody's answering their phone if they don't want to, right? We see who's calling every single time. If we don't want to pick up the phone, we won't. And then you can give a nice voicemail instead. So don't worry. People don't answer the phone and go like, wait, who am I talking to? Who's this? They know who's calling because they can see it.
All right, DJ, I love your idea of using Siri or Google to
Yeah.
remind you what to do, because I tend to write it on a piece of paper and then I can't read my handwriting later. And
Or I lose the paper. Yeah. Yeah.
that is so much more efficient. Thank
Mhm.
you. You have just changed my business practice. I love that. Thank you so much. All right. I want you to try to commit, be intentional to 5 purposeful calls every day. That ends up being 25 calls a week and over 1,200 per year. And I promise you, those touches will translate into listings, buyers, and referrals. I want to tell you a quick story. I was a top producer for almost 18 years, and I used to make all these phone calls. And the moment I stopped making phone calls, guess what? My business slowed down. And so realize that there is a direct correlation to staying in touch with people and having relationships with people and getting business.
Yeah, I absolutely. And let's give some final thoughts for calling with a purpose.
Okay, now let's just make this simple. Don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone, lead with value, and be genuine. People want to hear from someone who cares, not from someone who's just chasing a sale. So if you focus on building relationships, the business will follow.
Yeah, and I will also say if you're like me and you don't always like to make your calls because you get a little anxious or a little nervous, again, that's totally normal. Honor that. Don't worry about it. Just go fight through it, as Risa said. And also, what I'll often do is I'll trick myself into thinking, "Oh, if I make a social media post, that's enough." But that is easier for me than making a call. And I will tell you, making the call is way better use of your time. Not that you shouldn't also post, but don't do it in lieu of calling, right? Like, make those dials. I promise you, it's a little bit of a hurdle for some of us. Don't worry, totally normal. Top agents struggle with this too, but they do it and they know that that's the key. So this is it. Calling with a purpose. Make those dials, make them count. Watch your business grow. And thank you once again. This was a great episode. It was one of our longer ones. If you found this helpful, and I know you did, the couple of ways you can help us. First, tell a friend about this weekly series that we do. Maybe shoot them a link if you're watching this on social. You just send them a link over. We appreciate it. This is a message that any agent at any company probably would like to hear, especially those that are in between sales right now. And then also, Risa has a big event coming up in October on the 8th. If you are a Kale agent, this is our investor summit, and we have seats available. And so if you're a Kale agent, don't worry, you'll see information from Risa. If you are not a Kale agent, you're at a different firm and you're interested in coming, we have a few extra seats that we may be able to share with you. So you just reach out to either Risa or myself, say, hey, I'm an agent in another firm. And Risa, why don't we just say what people are going to learn at this investor summit? By the way, this is October 8th in Rosemont at 10 a.m. till about 1 o'clock or so. Tell them what they're going to learn.
Well, I mean, we are really focused on the mindset of an investor, whether it's you want to become an investor or you have clients that want to be investors. And we're going to have speakers that are talking about, well, first of all, really how to manage some of the title issues that the investors, attorney talking about how to avoid some of those title about financing. And there are some really amazing grants and financing tools to help you finance investment properties. And then we'll have somebody talking about house hacking, learning how to live for less and invest in your own home. And then finding properties off the MLS, fix and flips opportunities. And then finally, we have a speaker talking about data-driven calculations, how to really turn those numbers into profits. And I will tell you, I personally am excited because I want to become an investor. And I think we're going to learn that at this event. So join us. It's going to be at the Carlucci restaurant in Rosemont. Registration starts at 10. The big event starts at 10:30. And in 2 hours, you're going to walk away with a ton of information and the opportunity to rub elbows and network with other agents.
Yeah, this is Risa's does these summits 3, 4 times a year, and we have different topics. Well, we did one a few months ago on investor, similar but a little bit of a different topics with investor sort of real estate information. This one, last one was we did in June was just well attended that we're like, oh, let's do a different one. And we really, our speakers this time, and really every time, but our speakers this time in particular are really experts in all things real estate investor. So whether you want to work with investors or you want to be an investor yourself, this is the one not to miss. I don't think we'll do another investor one for quite a while. So this is the one. So if you're interested, just reach out to Risa or I if you're non-KL agent. If you're a KL agent, you'll see stuff from us. Reach out to us too. We can help get you registered. And we have sponsors. So this is on us. There's no cost to attend. I mean, there is a cost to attend, but we're covering it. And our sponsors very generously are covering it. We have food that you'll be enjoying while you're doing these presentations. You get to talk to our these presenters and you get to network with each other. So please,
Well, and I
we are
guess
so
I'll throw this
excited.
out there, DJ. We're also giving away raffles.
Oh, that's
Last
right. Yeah,
time,
yeah.
one of our vendors gave away laptops. Another one gave away like earbuds and speakers and all that. We don't know what the raffles are at this point, but I know they're going to be juicy. So join us for the education, for the networking and the prizes, and a chance to hang out with us.
Yeah, and just to learn what's the mindset of an investor so you can either become one or work with them yourself. So again, we cannot be more excited about this. Risa really has put so much work into this and I've helped a little bit here and there. So this is going to be probably our best one ever. So please reach out if you're interested in attending. All right, we will see everybody next time with more back to basic strategies really to help you build a business that lasts. Thanks, Risa.
Thanks, DJ. Well, enjoy your coffee, everybody, or your water, whatever it is, and make it a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Go make your dials. I'll make mine. I need to make mine too.